up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash, coming back to Funeral Takes. Well, you guys, it's that time again. Movie news. There's a couple things I want to discuss. One in particular I'm really excited to discuss. So you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing I want to talk about is all-encompassed Star Wars. Now, you all, if you live on a rock, you should already know that first and foremost, a teaser dropped at the end of this past week. I want to say, was it Friday? Yes, because it was early in the day. Girlfriend's at work, so couldn't do it until later in the day. It is what it is. But needless to say, besides that, there was a Star Wars celebration where this was actually shown alive. And let's just say that, of course, with the panel, you see some returning faces that we all know and love. And then, of course, we're going to get, familiar with some new cast. Now, I got my chance to do it Friday evening. I enjoyed seeing the trailer immensely. It's just, I put it like this. The first one back in the day came out in the late 70s. Now, I was a little kid back then, damn near a baby. But as I got a little older, after they had, Empire Strikes Back, and right around Return of the Jedi, that's when I became fully introduced. I remember seeing them when I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. And out of all those, when I was younger, I loved Return of the Jedi more so than anything. I did love the first two, but that was one of my favorite ones out of the first three. Then, of course, you all know later on, almost 20 years later, we had what was considered the prequels to those, which is 1, 2, and 3. Now, out of those, I liked Revenge of the Sith the most. And from there, as you all see in the last couple of years, starting with 2015, we had, The Force Awakens, which was very well done. Love that one because we got introduced to a couple new faces, of course. Kylo Ren, Rey, Poe, just to name a few, BB-8, And then, of course, we had the next one that came out, which was now been changed with the title. I think they're calling it, The Last Jedi, whichever, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the one that came out actually going on 2 years now, 2017. And now look how we are. We're now 2 years later, and we're getting ready to get prepped for the next one that's coming out, which is called The Rise of Skywalker. Now, and this is episode 9, excuse me. So I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm ready. I've just been here since day one, and I'm just here for it. I'm excited to see what they have in store. Now, that trailer, as a teaser, it was all sorts of feels for me. I was excited, but one in particular character that I'm so excited that's coming back, and that is Lando, played by Billy Dee Williams. When I saw his face show up with that nice little charismatic smile, I was just like, yes. Now, of course, returning characters, as you all know, Kylo Ren will be back, Rey, Finn, Poe. Of course, you see Chewbacca, you see C-3PO, you see BB-8, whichever. There's a couple of photos, of course, screenshots that are coming out where it shows them. Of course, those main characters, what looks like to be near the Millennium Falcon. And then you kind of see them looking into, the segue at something. Also, you see within the trailer, of course, like I said, Lando and Chewbacca together. Loved seeing them together. Oh my goodness, the feels. And then, of course, I'm showing scenes of what looks like to be Princess Leia, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. And then, just other things. Now, I will say this, at the end of that trailer, they, didn't show, but you could hear what looks like to be Palpatine, aka the Emperor. Now, I love what happened to him in Revenge of the Sith, how those things went down. And I'm just looking forward to seeing, because they said, not everybody stays dead, which I'm like, I'm just curious how this is going to unfold, how it is. Even the title, because at first it was just Star Wars Episode 9. Now, before the teaser dropped, they said the name had been, altered, where we now know what the original name is to be, The Rise of Skywalker. I am just here. All these little nuggets, Easter eggs, whatever you want to call it, just has me even more ready for the movie. We have a little ways to go. You all know this doesn't come out till December 20. So I'm just like, ugh, but that's okay. It's not that far away, but it just seems like it is rather far. But the summer will come by. I'm not trying to rush it because there's so much stuff coming out this summer that I want to just enjoy the moment for what it is, because that will definitely have its just due. Now, I feel like the official trailer will literally be something to be beholden, and I'm so here for it. Because that teaser set it up just so I know that I feel like we're going to get a great official trailer. And after that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't need to see no more. Once they give me that official trailer, I'm probably going to make that my last little bit. I don't want to see nothing else. That is going to do it for me. But I'm excited now. When I say how happy I was to see Lando, I'm just happy to see Billy Dee. Now, I talked about this last year. I want to say around early summer that I heard word that he was actually on board coming back, and that he was kind of, as they said, kind of, getting his body physically kind of ready a little bit. He is up in there in age, so I expected that no less, whichever. But just seeing that little clip of him, the little bit that they showed of him in the scene in the trailer, he looks great. I'm just elated to see him do his thing. I don't know what in full capacity about what exactly his character going to be doing, but just to know that he is on there. Of course, remember in Force Awakens we got to see Harrison Ford back, of course Princess Leia, just all of some of our favorites coming back, and of course the last one, which was with Mark Hamill, and just more nostalgia for us, more nostalgia, and of course introducing us to new characters for the last two, and of course we might get some new characters, which we are. Now, I did also explain of hearing that we have quite a few different characters coming on board. I'm hearing about a female by the name of Naomi Aki, who's going to be playing a character named Ajana. Now, whispers are saying that it's a possibility she can be related to Lando, maybe the daughter, and then they're claiming that it's possible she can just be another actual character within the movie. Either or is fine. I mean, honestly, I don't really, care about that. I'm just glad to see there's some other faces that are being added, so when these other, excuse me about that, you guys. Ooh, I don't know where the yarn came from. Just the overall casting in this and the characters, we're opening doors to other characters. So I'm looking forward to seeing other people come on board. Also, I'm hearing Richard E. Grant will be attached to this, but nothing about what his character is. No name, no nothing. One that I really wanted to know about is Kerry Russell. Now, I'm hearing also that they're claiming that possibility that she could be maybe Rey's mom, because we still, of course, don't know who her parents are. What is the status about her background? I really want to know what's up with that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly what Kerry Russell's character will be doing in this movie and to what capacity. I hate when they have such secretiveness behind certain characters, because some of these actors I really enjoy and I really want to know what they're doing. Kerry Russell's one of those. She's around my age bracket, so I followed a lot of her work over the years, especially when she was on the show Felicity. So I really want to see what exactly she's doing. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for that. But yes, this is just awesome. I'm so excited that we're finally getting a little bit of stuff, which I kept wondering when the teaser would come out. I thought maybe June or July, not this early, but it sounds about right. Even if they did it closer to May, because we got May 4th coming, May the 4th be with you. So I'm just like, yeah. So yeah, I'm being a little cheesy there. So needless to say, I'm just happy overall. We got to see something. It looks good. I love what I saw. The visuals, everything looks great. I'm ready to see my return characters. I'm ready for them to flesh out some new ones. Figure out what's happening with this storyline and see where we're going. I'm happy that director J.J. Abrams is back on board. I did have no problem with Rian Johnson, so to speak, whichever, even though a lot of pushback on the last movie. But it is what it is. You can't please everybody, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's this is just how it is with movies in general anyway. So, but yes, definitely looking forward to it. December 20th. I'm going to just be patient, wait for it to come on, flow on through. But for now, this little trailer will do just fine until we get the next one. I feel like that will be even better, like I said. So, but yes, guys, comment below. Let me know what you all thought about the teaser trailer. Also, and let me know which Star Wars movies you like. It can be more than one. You don't have to just pick one. Like I said, you already know which ones I really said that I really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to just adding this. This is considered to me personally like a box set nonsense right here. Like once they finish them all, I would literally get this in a box set, whichever, I would straight binge it too. So, but yes, moving from that. So, but the next thing I want to discuss has to do with Marvel. And this has to do with the fact that we're getting more people added to this particular movie. And I'm kind of glad, because for the longest time I was wondering what the heck is happening. And this has to do with Black Widow. Now, just last week I just told you guys that there's two people who are actually a part of it. One is still rumored to be coming on board. They're in the midst of, probably putting the negotiations for this particular character. But then we have another person coming on board. The first one, of course, I said David Arbor has already been attached. Then we have Florence Pugh, who's coming on board as well. She was in the movie Fighting with the Family. And then we have Rachel Weisz, who's in consideration for a particular role. Now we're getting a gentleman by the name, and let me get his name correct, because he's a part of the TV show The Handmaid's Tale. His name is O.T. Fagbenle, excuse me. I hope I'm saying his last name correctly. And he is the one that I said played on the show. He plays Luke from The Handmaid's Tale. Great show. He's coming on board. Now, I'm excited because, like I stated, we're getting more people. I don't know what capacity he could be in. Supposedly, he might be looking at the villain character on this one. That's a possibility. You never know. He could be for a wholly, totally different type of character. But if he's playing a villain, that would be nice because, of course, on the show Luke, you know, he's a very nice down-to-earth guy. He plays Elizabeth Moss' character's husband. So, yeah, I am looking forward to more and more information. This has me even more excited for Scarlett Johansson's movie, Black Widow, because like I stated all the time, I will not stop saying it, this one truly is long overdue. And I feel like she's put in the time, in the work, and I'm glad that they're doing this movie justice. They're taking their time. They're getting the casting right. We have director Kate Shortland. I'm excited about that. And I'm just ready. Now, for filming, they're saying filming starts around June. So that is good to know because this does come out in 2020. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what else is going to be in store. And I also want to have a better idea of exactly when this is going to fall into place. Like, okay, we can't really discuss too much about her storyline because they're claiming we have to wait till we see what's happening with Avengers Endgame. It could happen where it could be after this, or it could be something where it's mostly a lot of backstory that are parlay into some, you know, maybe scenes that are more present day with her character, depending on what happens with her in Endgame. So I'm just curious about that because I said I hope they showcase definitely some stuff from her childhood, and then show stuff in between, but then definitely with stuff moving forward. I think, if I'm not mistaken as well, I think Jeremy Renner is in this one as well. That would be nice if he is, and I want to feel like he's more present day than anything, because of course she plays assassin who turns, you know, agent for S.H.I.E.L.D., whichever, and goes out and help the bad guys, you know, working with the Avengers all together as a whole. So it's so many layers for Natasha, aka Black Widow, to actually open up for us to see and understand her, just understand her overall way of doing things, her behavior, the way she always carries herself in all the movies said through the last 10 years, almost 11. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see some scenes from the set when it comes out in June. They've been just, as other movies that are happening right now that you get to a lot of, you know, photos that are being leaking, and I'm talking about like Birds of Prey, so I'm ready to see some leaked footage of hers. So, but yes, but moving on from that. Now, speaking of Marvel, excuse me. Now, the situation with them is, I keep talking about this because we have quite a few movies that are definitely in the works. Now, I'm ready to hear more about what's happening with Phase 4. Now, I know we're not going to get too much information until, as they're saying, okay, of course, Avengers Endgame, but then also after Spider-Man comes out, Far From Home. That comes out July 5th. Now, I know Comic-Con this year, I think if I'm not mistaken, is July 18th through the 21st. And I feel like we'll get some type of information going forward after that. They'll probably have some sort of maybe panel. I don't know. That will be nice. Also, just kind of understanding what's happening, because I know part of Phase 4, we'll definitely be getting Black Widow. We definitely are going to be getting the Eternals, because we'll be starting that later this summer, going to fall for production. They're getting the casting ready for that, because I just talked about that just last week as well. Also, not hearing a little bit of word that definitely will be a Black Panther 2, probably in that midst of Phase 4 as well. From what I'm hearing from them, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry guys, I'm not tired, but this yarn is just out of control. I feel like they're going to do like they do the last time, definitely like some sort of 5-year plan maybe, so we kind of have an understanding. They're not going to discuss in full detail everything that's coming out, but we definitely know what's going to keep moving Marvel forward. We have a couple of movies definitely we know are going to be coming down the pike going into 2020, so that's good to know. I want to know what else. I already talked about Shang-Chi. Definitely the turns looking forward to. What's happening with Doctor Strange 2. Yeah, just quite a few. You know, my dream was to be for him to make a Hulk movie. That'd be nice too. Add that on there. So I just, you know, I'm just looking forward to seeing what else is down the ways for Marvel. But like I said, I feel like a lot of this stuff will come out probably around the time of Comic-Con for us once, because by then, like I said, Spider-Man will be out. They might do some sort of panel with San Diego Comic-Con, and that hopefully will give us a little bit more. I doubt Kevin Feige is going to tell us so much, but he's going to give us breadcrumbs. He can't help it. He's got to give us some breadcrumbs. It's like, look at all the money we gave y'all. They have made billions and billions of dollars. And like, yeah, you all need to fork it over. We need to know who else and who's going to be coming on board for certain movies, who's coming back to do, you know, their standalone. I'm just here for it. So, but yes, I'm looking forward to seeing definitely these movies, you know, because with the diversity we're getting with all this different casting, that has me even more excited for what we have in store for the future of the movies. And with all these different things that have happened with Disney coming on board, whichever, it's going to be a lot going on with movies in general. So I'm totally down. Looking forward to it. San Diego Comic Con is going to be real interesting with a lot of stuff that's going to be showcased during those 3 days. So that should be interesting. So moving away from good old Marvel, so I'm getting to some other stuff now. This is a totally different movie. I'm excited about this one because of the casting, and this has to do with the director Alexander Payne. He is attached to a movie which is going to be starring Emma Thompson and Ralph Fiennes. I'm a fan of both of their works, and the movie is called The Menu. Now I want to verify the synopsis, so let's just jump into that. It says the menu follows a foodie couple as they travel to an exotic high-end restaurant on a tropical island. The chef, which is played by Ralph Fiennes, is renowned for his mouth-watering creations. But once the couple arrive, the cooking begins. What should have been an eclectic getaway turns into something far more shocking. Now, they're claiming at first it's supposed to be some comedic horror thriller, but I don't know how to take that, because when I think about Alexander Payne's overall movies, he did movies like Election with Reese Witherspoon, which I love. He also did, what is the movie? Citizen Ruth. He also did, what's another one I like? I want to know. Sideways, which I like, whichever. And then, of course, recently with Matt Damon, Downsizing. So he's kind of all over with different types of ways of his genres that movies that he does, which I like. I like when you mix it up. You don't have to do all the same type of films. So I don't know how to take this right there. That's a good synopsis, but being considered a comedic thriller, horror thriller, I don't know. But he says it takes a shocking turn, so it can be something that's very lighthearted, but then switches up and becomes more of a thriller. Then that's fine, whatever. Comedic thriller, I don't know, whichever. But you never know, because the reason I say it like that, I can see that if that's the case because of Emma Stone, excuse me, I don't know where I got Thompson from. But yes, her in this, I can get that part with that particular way of looking at the film. Ralph Fiennes more so, I can't see it. I don't really see him in a lot of stuff that's comedy. Mostly I see him as always doing a lot of more dramatic roles. So that would be different, and that's nothing wrong with that. It's always good to mix it up, whatever, keep people guessing. When people start typecasting you, like I just did, just assuming he does all drama, that can become an issue. So, but yes, I'm curious to see and learn a little bit more about this movie. Since these two are on board to do this movie with him, I'm wondering who else will be cast. That will be interesting. I don't know when production starts, because we have not made it that far. He's definitely directing and is definitely working on the script as we speak. But yes, this looks like this will be very interesting. I like that overall synopsis. That definitely has me wanting to know a little bit more. So once they start production, hopefully we'll know a little bit more from that, because that will be very interesting. Also, this was announced, if they're not mistaken, earlier in the year. I want to say this was sometime towards the end of February, when they said that this was actually in the process of beginning production, and that Stone and Fiennes actually come on board. So I'm looking forward to this one. So I'm going to keep my eyes, like I said, on this one. I want to know more, and like I said, I really want to know who else will be cast in that. So moving on from that. Now, this movie, we already had a reboot of sorts. Now word is out that they're considering they're going to be doing a sequel, and this has to do with Tomb Raider. Now, remember, I love the ones that Angelina did back in the day. Those were done, the first one, Tomb Raider, was done in 2001, and then she did Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, which was, I think, 2003. Now, of course, all these years later, circa, 15 years later, that's when Alicia Vikander has done the most recent reboot. And I thought she did pretty well. I was actually excited for her character in this one. She looks the part, if you look similar to the video games as well. So a lot of people kind of like that. The trailer was pretty good. And the movie overall, now I felt like certain parts of the storyline wasn't fleshed out enough. So I feel like, but it did very well at the actual theaters, and the box office did pretty well. So from there, word is out there, like I said, they want to do a sequel. Secondly, I know for me, going forward, they're going to do the sequel. I'm hoping that the plot is a little bit better. Now, the ending, when they were talking about the Trinity part, I feel like that's where they should start from there, whichever, to kind of move this along. And they did leave it open for interpretation for you to think that they're going to make a sequel for the way it was done. Her coming to a conclusion about somebody who's very close to her and her father, her going back and finding some extra clues. So I feel like the potential was always there. It's just a matter of, are they going to do a sequel? Because when I left out of there, I kept wondering that as well. they could do that if they want to. She has definitely all the charisma of the overall character of Lara Croft from the video games, and even from the way they did it now. The way they sexualized, I'll be honest with you, Angelina back in the day, and the other one with outfits and all that. This one, she is not so much, whichever. She's definitely rough around the edges, whichever and all, but she still has a lot of the fight, the tenacity, all the little things that we want in Lara Croft to do Tomb Raider. So I'm excited with what they could possibly do with this. So hopefully, moving forward, Alicia might come back. I'm hoping she does. That would be great. I feel like she probably will. She want to think that she had an idea that if they did this one with her, they might want her to come back. And with that, say this comes into play, that she'll probably most likely will do that. Because even though some people like doing other genres and crafts, every now and then it's nice to have a nice little chunk of change in that bank account that's really good, whatever and all that, And to show she can do some action, which she did pretty good for what she had. So, looking forward to this one. Definitely, when I know more, hopefully we'll know stuff going into summer when they're planning to start production, if this is moving forward. And then finding out officially if Alicia is going to be coming back. That would be nice. So moving on from that. Now, this is another one where we got a new movie that was added to the Conjuring, just the overall Conjuring franchise. And then now I'm getting word that they're considering doing a sequel. And this has to do with The Nun. Now, I will say this. I've loved the movies that they've done to open up the overall world of The Conjuring with, Annabelle, and then bring into the fold The Nun. Now, for me, I will say this, the way it was done, I love the first Conjuring, definitely the second one. The first Annabelle, did not care for it. Annabelle creation was done very well. And then now we have a most recent movies coming on June, which is Annabelle Comes Home. Trailer was a little creepy, so I'm hopefully here for that. Now for The Nun, I will say the overall storyline was kind of a tad lackluster. The creepy factor was kind of there. The Nun was creepy, but some of the scenes that they showed from the trailer was the same stuff in the movie. So it kind of took away from the movie a little bit, so it wasn't as creepy. But the way they left it open, I really like how they have the window open for they could do another one if they want. I will say that much. So hopefully if you all have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you saw the ending of the movie. So, and it parlays going into, let's just say per se, the first Conjuring. So I'm curious to see how they're going to play this particular one out. Now they're stating, because the way they did The Nun, that's showing circa like 1952, you have the priest, and then he brings a particular nun, which was Demian Bichir, and then we also had Tessa Farmiga, who plays a nun, who goes along with him to deal with the situations happening in this particular place in Romania. And then from there they meet a gentleman by the name of Frenchie, played by, I want to say, Jonah Bloquet. I could be saying his name incorrect. My apologies. Now you see the situation that happens amongst the nuns. Some of them, one of them in particular kills himself, whatever, and they do certain things where they're trying to hold on to something. They don't want the nun, the creepy nun, to get her hands on, which is called Valak. And from there, the whole situation with that, things start to happen, whichever, possession, of course, with one of the particular characters like Tessa playing, and then, of course, she freeing herself from her, whichever her spirit, but then the spirit finds its way into another character, which is played by Frenchie. Now, there's a scene they show at the end of the movie where you see how that takes a hold of him and effect of him, but you can see that's later, circa 1970, I want to say it was a 71 that they're stating when we saw the first Conjuring movie. So that means it's a window between 52 and 71 where they can fit that particular storyline for the sequel into that, and also have Demian and Tessa come back and play their actual, particular characters again. That is a possibility. I wouldn't mind that, because like I said, I love they have a window, because all of these kind of are in certain ways prequels to other things, and you can clearly see how that was, between the Conjuring movies, in between with Annabelle falling in line between those movies, and same thing with The Nun. So I'm here for that. I just love how I could really binge all those and put them in a certain order and watch those, and then see how the flow of all of them being, connected. So I'm totally here for it. The lady who plays the nun, ever since we saw her, of course, when the ones were, the husband's painting, played by Patrick Wilson. His painting, of course, his wife, played by Vera, is looking at the painting, and we all thought that, because I thought it too, she looks ugly and she looks freaking creepy. Then you see the scene of her being in the room with the painting on the wall, and of course, when the hands came up on each side and it started to move away from the wall, people in the theater, I will never forget it. They were just like, why is she standing there? She should have been gone. I'm thinking the same goddamn thing. I'm just like, really? Because I'm sorry. There's no way I would have even been in that room soon. I'd have been gone. Soon as I thought I heard anything, I probably wouldn't even went in the room. But, you know, this is what's called a movie. They got to put it in the movie because they want to see how we're going to react. And I'm telling you, in real life, that wouldn't have went down like that. I wouldn't even been in there. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even been in that house. So, but needless to say, yes, I'm just looking forward to seeing the nun. I want her to be just as creepy. Because I felt like some parts were creepy, but just not overall. It didn't do anything for me. It was no jump scares for me per se. So I really want them to really bring that. Because the way they're phrasing this, and let me say, the person who's talking about this, and his name is Peter Safran. I'm going to see what he said when he was talking about this to Entertainment Weekly. He confirmed it. He says, I think there's an inevitability to another nun movie. We have a really fun storyline for that teed up. So I think that's the next one that will be written. Now, when he says a really fun story, I'm hoping he's just saying it like that, but he really means it's going to be so freaking creepy that it's going to have the people who like all the other parts of The Conjuring and Annabelle excited to go and see this movie. Because saying it like that makes it seem like it's going to be so great and wholesome. No, I don't want great. I want it to be straight up horror, thriller, literally to the point where certain scenes I would never be able to get out of my, mindset. That it will just be sphered in there for like at least a day or two, whichever. Like, damn, I can't believe that scene was in that movie. That's what I mean by really fun, because that scene like that makes it sound like something straight Disney, and I'm just like, no, ain't nobody here for that. So, but anyway, definitely looking forward to it. Want to know more? Who else will be casting this if Demain and Tasa come back? That will be nice, and they introduce us some more stuff, or even introduce us back to Frenchie and what happens to him before circa the first Conjuring movie. That would be nice as well. So, but with that said, moving on, you guys. Now this one, I will say I'm now getting a little bit more excited knowing a little bit more about the movie, and this has to do with Charlie's Angels, with the reboot. Now this is the one I already said, you already know who's attached to this one. This is the one that has, of course, Kristen Stewart, we have Naomi Scott, we have Ella Balinska, and we have directing this our girl Elizabeth Banks. Now I'm excited for this one. Now that Entertainment Weekly put up some more pictures so we can see a little bit more, because for the longest time we weren't seeing a damn thing, and I'm just like, what the heck? Can we get more photos? So finally, I'm going to showcase them somewhere up in here so you all can see a couple of the photos from what was in the overall magazine. And I'm glad you get to see, of course, pictures of the girls, together. Of course, what it looks like to me, from what Elizabeth Banks is stating, they're going to definitely be globetrotting the world, circa similar to like kind of a little bit like James Bond, so to speak. But this one, as she put it, will not be all about giving the male gaze. Now, we all remember the ones prior to that, of course, the TV show with Farrah Fawcett, love that one. But then, of course, the movie ones, when I talked about Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew Barrymore, whichever, and of course, some other characters that showed up in the second one, which was like, of course, Demi Moore. We all, for tantalizing, they look cute with it and all that. But what we want to keep is about some action, about them solving cases, this being a real straight out teamwork effort. This is what I want to see. I'm going to read what Elizabeth Banks actually said in her entirety. She said, it was important to me to make a movie about women working together and supporting each other, and not making a movie about the romantic entanglements of or their mother they don't call enough. When I'm at work, I don't talk about those things. I get on with my job. It felt important to do that for the Angels, to treat them with respect their skill set demands. I like that, and I love that she's all about that. It has nothing to do with women empowerment, whichever, and all that. You can have it where these women, of course, they're pretty, you see that, but they're here to handle business and to keep it about the business. Because I've seen many movies that are the other gender where they're, focused, whatever. They might be handsome, but they're getting the job done. So it's not like you have to make it where they're always all encompassing, tantalizing, whichever, tight jeans, whatever, form-fitting shirt, whatever, and all that. But other than that, they have nothing else going on. Then it kind of makes the movie, honestly, boring to me. I've seen that. That's been done multiple times. So I'm kind of glad she's going to make it about them handling business, whatever, doing what they need to do. And I feel like, with Elizabeth Banks, being that she's been in quite a few movies, whichever, she has a definitely hold on being able to present that. And then also just seeing her behind the camera is going to be nice. I think she's in front of the camera as well, but I'm just happy to see that she's directing now. So I'm kudos to that. So yeah, I'm a fan of her. She's going to be in another movie I'm dying to see, which is going to be the movie Brightburn. So I'm just loving to see her and stuff because I've been following her work. The first movie I saw her in, honestly, was the movie Swept Away with Madonna. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her, do her thing, just seeing how her touch is done with the ladies in this movie, and just seeing how this is going to come to life, because this is going to be the one that's going to let us know if the people like it enough to go see it around November. This comes out, what is this, November 15th, to see if it does very well. Secondly, if they're going to do a second one, because we saw how good the first one was with the other ladies, Lucy, Drew, and Cameron, that they did a second one and they did very well. Both of them made very good money and they're very well liked. So that means they have to bring it. Secondly, I'm going to tell you like this. Kristen Stewart better do very well in this. I'm telling you right, in regards to just them, whatever they're solving for, whatever cases they're working on, and also whatever ways they show her for kicking her butt, because she needs to bring in this, because I think her name stamp at the top of this list of actresses in this movie besides Elizabeth Banks is the billing part of this. And I feel like if she doesn't bring it, they're going to rake her over the coals in this particular film. I'm not even going to lie. So that's just how I feel. Now this movie again comes out November 15th. They pushed it back because of Terminator 6. What is that? Dark Fate. Just Terminator Dark Fate, excuse me. So yeah, they only got a couple of weeks to, do really pretty darn good. So let's hope they do very well. I want it to actually do very well. I'm really vibing off of these photos, and it looks like it's going to be all types of fun with also some good action hopefully encompassed with that. So, but moving on from that, the last and final thing I want to discuss, and this has to do with Birds of Prey. I'm happy we're getting more photos. We're seeing a little bit of stuff, even though these things are considered leaked set photos, because they're really not supposed to be showing these things. People have those cross lenses and they can't hide when you're out there using main streets and roads, whatever, to do certain things. You can't shield it off. You got to make it look very, it's got to blend in like they're just doing a regular scene within the movie where they feel like they're closing off, people, whichever. They probably close down the streets a little bit so it's not too much noise or whatever. But every now and then, some cameraman's going to get through and get the photos, which is sometimes deep down we want to see. And honestly, I want to see the more I can see, but not everything, the better. I like what I saw in this one. Now for these particular ones, you see one where I finally get to see the character played by Rosie Perez, and that is Renee Montoya. And I'm happy because of course she's the one that is the cop. And from these pictures you see, it looks like she is actually in the midst of some sort of sequence, like a street scene or whatever, where she's coming after Harley Quinn. Looks like she, has her gun or something with her, whichever. And I'm just wondering what kind of shenanigans Harley Quinn is in the midst of, whichever. You see her outfit as well from the pictures. 2 different types of shoes on. I like no kind of running she's doing in that, because it looks like that would be uncomfortable. And then, of course, some other little scenes I'm seeing here that are popping up from some other photos where it shows a scene of Harley Quinn with Cassandra Cain, played by Ella J. Basco. She's kind of with her, whichever, because if you all recall, it's a scene where she ends up with some sort of diamond, whichever. And she ends up with that, whichever, and they're trying to shield her, keep Cassandra, safe. And unbeknownst to her, she has a diamond that actually belongs to the character Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor. So yeah, it's a couple other little photos that came out that I'm excited to see, and I'm just looking forward because they're showing more and more of different characters, and I like how it just looks like Harley and Cassandra probably have some sort of conversation in the car, whichever. That looks really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some pictures more of Black Mask, even if he's not wearing said Black Mask, but just seeing Ewan McGregor. And then, of course, the other ladies, Huntress and Black Canary, played by, Elizabeth Winstead, and, of course, Janae Smollett. So, yes. Is it? Yes, that's what I want to say. If I'm saying her, yes, Janae Smollett. I was getting confused, almost thinking her brother's name. So, yes, I'm just looking forward to seeing Birds of Prey. I'm loving, because I know a lot of people are kind of getting frustrated, because of what they're seeing, whichever, but I don't let photos dictate how I'm going to feel about the movie. I don't want to see a trailer so I can make a full criticism or critique of, if you will, of the actual movie. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. We won't get that, like I said, and I kind of made that very well known for the last couple of times I've discussed the Birds of Prey. I feel like we're going to definitely get something around Comic-Con. It'll probably be a teaser. better than that little 15-second, which is fine because we got to be introduced to some of the characters, and that's fine. But we're going to be totally down to see a teaser because, again, the movie does not come out until February, February of next year, so we have a ways to go. So yes, I'm not going to rush it. It is what it is, but I'm totally excited and hyped to see Birds of Prey, and I'm so happy all these women are in it. Secondly, I'm actually kudos to Margot Robbie for just being a part of this produce, because this was not a movie that was high on their radar to even want to make. So her putting her clout out there to get this out, I love that. And I just love it because there's a lot of females in this movie, and I will want to see them kicking butt and doing their thing. And I'm just totally here for that. So yes, this looks like it's going to be one of those ones I'm really looking forward to seeing that's coming out of DC. Of course, considered like some sort of standalone of sorts for them as well. And with the way DC is doing some of their movies as of lately, they're knocking them out the park. I'm loving what they're doing. They're finding, like I said, their own niche, and there's nothing wrong. I know a lot of people like wondering why they're doing standalone. I'm like, why? Why shouldn't they? Marvel's supposed to be the only one doing standalone films and then coming together as a group to be Avengers. I'm like, no, that doesn't just pertain to just Marvel. DC can do the same thing as long as they find their way of doing stuff that works for them. And clearly it seems to be working. Aquaman's doing well. Shazam's doing still well at the box office. It's still #1. Happy for them for that. Joker came out of nowhere a week ago. Poster, the trailer's off the hook. I'm happy they're finally finding their way, and I just wanted to continue because it looks like, there's no stopping that, and I'm happy for it. There's no reason why, I always say it because I like both. I don't have to like one better than the other. I like them both, and that's just how it is. One might have a little bit more stuff out right now, and people are loving it, but that's okay. The other ones, they're doing their thing, and people are liking so far what they're seeing, so it is what it is. So, but with that said, you guys, that is it. I love you to comment below. Let me know what you all think. Like I said before, I want to know what you all like in regards to Star Wars. How you feel about the teaser just came out. Let me know what you think about just all the other things I talked about in this movie news. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next one. You guys take care.